Well, here we are again, and today I'd like to do something a little bit unique. And it's something I've done hundreds, maybe thousands of times over the last number of years, and it's a big part of my recovery, and that is talking to my inner child. And I'm going to do a sample of how I did it so that maybe you can just see one way of how it could be done, how I did it. Um, Anyway, to preface what I'm going to do is, I just want to say that I imagine myself talking to myself when I was 5 years old, and I call myself when I was 5 years old kid. I refer to myself as kid, but it's kind of like what I do is I imagine I'm talking to my 5 year old me and just having a talk because that's when it all began. That's when the shame and the trauma began for me, which was the essence of my addictions and codependency, which I was later to understand and be able to connect the dots. But as I was connecting the dots, I came up with this idea, and what I would do is I would be here at my place, and I just, it would be very quiet. I might have a candle burning, dim lights, and I would just sit back and I would relax and I would have a talk with my inner child, me as a 5 year old kid. And a conversation would go something like this. And I'll just demonstrate it for you what a conversation would have been like. Kid, I know it was so tough for you back then. Kid, I know what it felt like to just be so scared. I know what it felt like when people criticized you. And I know you just felt so out of place, like you didn't belong. And when the other kids laughed at you because you seemed to be different. And kid, I just know how painful that was. And you just shrunk. You just didn't want to be there. You were scared half to death. And all you wanted to do was to survive. Kid, I know, kid, and I'm just so sorry you had to go through that. But anyway, kid, we're going to be okay. And I'll tell you why, kid, because I'm going to stand up and fight for us now, kid. You know, I always loved the poem, I think it was by Theodore Roosevelt. And he said, the credit belongs to the man in the arena whose face is mired with blood and sweat and dust, who strives valiantly but comes short again and again and again because there is no effort without shortcoming, but who strives to do the deeds. Kid, I always loved that, but I could never be a fighter because I never knew who the enemy was. But kid, we have found the enemy. As Charlie Brown said, we have found the enemy and he is me. Or in other words, the enemy is us. What we had to go through, the dysfunction, the trauma, the shame that we had to go through, kid. That's the enemy. And now that I see the enemy, I can stand up and fight. Now that we see the wrong, kids, I can stand up and right those wrongs. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I've been doing. And we're going to make it work, kid. We're going to make it work. So, anyways, kid, I just want to tell you something exciting. The other day, I found this. It's an old song, and I hadn't heard it in a long, long time. But I read it, kid, and when I read it, I just felt like crying because it's us, kid. And I just want to read you a little bit of that now, kid, because it's us, kid. Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, kid, whether I find a place in this world or never belong, I gotta be me, kid. I gotta be me. What else can I be but what I am? I want to live, kid, not merely survive. And I won't give up this dream of life that keeps me alive. I gotta be me, kid. I gotta be me. The dream that I see makes me what I am. That faraway prize, a world of success, is waiting for us, kid, if I heed the call. I won't settle down. I won't settle for less as long as there's a chance that we can have it all. I'll go it alone, kid, if that's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I gotta be free. Daring to try, to do it or die. I just gotta be me. Kid, that's us. That's us, kid. That's where we're at. That's where we're at, kid. We're gonna be me. We're gonna win, kid. Let me tell you something else, kid. I ain't never gonna abandon us again. Ain't gonna happen. Let me tell you something else, kid. I ain't never gonna give up on us again. That ain't gonna happen. Let me tell you something else, kid. Just let them fucking try and stop us now. Just let them try. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen, kid. It ain't over until we win. And we're gonna win, kid. So you can come out and play. You can be who you are. It's gonna be okay, kid. I guarantee it. It's gonna be okay. Well, that's how I did it. That's how I do it. And it even made me feel good to do it right now because it's true. It's true. And I'm on a path that I really love. And I've said many times in meetings over the last few years, uh, the greatest success I've ever had in my whole life is just being me. Is being the person that I really am. Is being able to come out of hiding and just tell my truth. Just talk about how I'm feeling, you know, and talk about what I'm thinking, you know, and not to be afraid of what people are going to say, to believe in myself. So this has been one of the big pieces of my journey is getting my identity back, becoming the person that I was really meant to be, and and this really is so exciting, and it's a big part of recovery. And now my purpose is to help the other guy, find the same peace, find the same understanding. And if you really want to recover, this is such an important thing to do is to love yourself. There was a period of time when I was so down on myself. I hated myself. I figured I'd made more mistakes than anybody. And I had to learn to forgive myself. And then I had to learn to love myself. And then I had to learn to become a fighter. And this is all part of my story. And anyway, this is the stuff I talk about, in my presentations, in my podcasts, and workshops and presentations, and have you. And it's the essence kind of my work as a peer support worker. So anyway, that what I did, nobody taught me how to do that. And I mean, if you want to become the person you were meant to be, I mean, if you want to talk to your inner child, I mean, you can do it your way. You don't have to do it the way I did it. But I just use that as an example to show you how possibly it could be done. But you don't have to read books. You don't have to go to therapists and psychiatrists. You just do it. You just sit down and you just have a conversation with, yourself. You just be really honest and you open up and you talk about what's in your heart, and you just be really honest. And it's such a beautiful thing for me to do that. It's so therapeutic when I was doing that, and it just made me want to do more. It just wanted me to, to become better. And I become better all the time. I love myself more all the time. So it's a great journey. So anyway, uh, that was kind of a unique thing to do, but I hope you enjoyed it. But anyway, always, 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 always question. And there's a better way. 6 months down the road, I hope to be able to do this better. But right now, I'm doing the best I can. But always do the best you can. And wherever you're at, choose greatness. Take the high road. And the most important thing um, is that your destiny is a choice that only you can make. And my purpose is to help you to make that, to find the way. And I'm certainly willing to do that.